Hello and welcome to this introductory video telling you everything you need to know about your brand new Mobii interactive table or Mobii Magic Surface. So it comes with a protective cover like this, so I'm going to just remove that for you. There we go. You can see it's on 4 casters, each with its own lock, and that can easily be wheeled around on any floor. Obviously you can go in a lift if you need it to, and because of its size it can be safely put away in a cupboard and stored between sessions. Equally, you could leave it out in a room ready for use. There are some things to remember when you are storing it. Please don't leave it next to a warm radiator. Make sure no liquids get spilled on it, and obviously make sure that it's not going to be in the way. Don't want anyone to trip over it, particularly with leads, which need to be kept nicely tucked away and unplugged when it's not in use. I'm just going to swivel this around for you. You can see how easily it moves. And we have a storage compartment on the back which houses a keyboard, the remote control, 2 manuals, one's a product manual, the other's a user manual, and a power lead for the system. So the first manual is a product manual. This guides you through everything from setting up your system and all the different things that are included, and some of that will be obviously covered in this first part of this demo anyway. And the second manual is more detailed. It's our user manual. The first section is all about the types of effects, how you might use it, and then the second section is for those with an editable system, how you might want to create your own apps and edit existing content. One of the great add-on features of our system is this Mobii activity kit. So I'm just going to run through the contents with you now. You should have 2 silver battens in there. You'll also find a large football, which is particularly good for our floor games and exercises. There are also 2 brushes. You could also add to those with maybe some of your own size. These are really good for the wipe applications, which will make more sense later. There are also 2 smaller balls, which are particularly good for rolling along the surface of the table. And lastly, 4 different coloured bean bags, which work really well for physical agility games. Okay, so you're almost ready to set up. I'm just going to go through some basic instructions with you. First of all, you've probably been delivered some floor vinyl or a table, or you may even have both. So decide which surface you're going to project on first. And the other thing to consider is where in the room you're going to set the system up. Make sure it's away from bright natural light at the windows and any bright lights in the room. Okay, so we're almost ready to get started. So you need your 3-metre power cable that's supplied with the system. Open that up and then I'll show you where to put that. Okay, so once you've plugged your lead in at the wall, don't turn it on yet. This is the other end of your cable. Just like a kettle lead, that there fits on the left-hand side of the Mobii in that hole there. And once that's in and secure, that's when you then turn the power on at the wall. You'll know the power is working because on the front of your Mobii, the first little light up button there should now be glowing red. So we're all plugged in and ready to go. I'm just going to turn it around to show you something at the back that we're going to need now. And this is your up-down button there. So you can see there's an up arrow and a down arrow, and we're going to use those to get the Mobii to the right height. Okay, so if you're running a session on the floor, this position is going to work already. But if you are hoping to use it on a table or a bed, you're actually going to need to use the up arrow to bring the Mobii up to the height that you require. So until we get our surface in place, I'm just going to bring it up to a sort of mid-height, and then we'll get our table ready to demonstrate to you. Okay, so now we have the Mobii set up behind the table of your choice. I'm just going to use those buttons on the back to raise it up, so using the up arrow. And we're going to get it sort of level with the edge of the table. We're going to try that for now. Press the start up shut down button. And you can see there's a little light have come on there. And round the front there is a little indicator light which is red, and after about half a minute or so that should start to flash blue. You'll hear the projector come on, and then you'll get the welcome message on your surface. And there we go. Now at the moment it's not lined up with the table, it was just a guess. So we're going to use the up and down arrow again, just to line it up with the edges of your table. So going a little bit higher now with the up arrow, a little bit more until we get level with the edges. And there we go, that's pretty much covering the whole surface. It will vary depending on the size of the table that you're using. So this is the remote control that comes with your system. The button at the top is your navigation control. and the buttons here down the side are volume, and this one is the freeze button, which I'll come to a little later on. So you have up to 3 folders probably on your system, and I'm going to start by pressing OK in the centre of that navigation button to open that folder. So now we're into a whole menu of applications listed alphabetically by effect. So I'm going to use the left and right arrows to move along the applications, left or right, and the up and down arrows are navigating north and south. As you navigate across each application, it becomes highlighted, and the notes at the top of your screen give you all the information about that app. So this one is called Feathers and Birds. The description is that it's feathers scattered over a woodland scene, and the notes tell you this is a calming application with birdsong. So I'm now going to press OK in the middle of that navigation button, and that will select that app. So there's a little buffering sign, and then you get your loading screen, which is only there for a very short time, and then your app is loaded. So this one is a scatter application, which means all of those feathers floating on the top can be scattered just by moving your arms across the surface, revealing an image underneath. So while we're on this application, I'm just going to quickly show you how the volume control works. Using these buttons here, we can either increase the volume by pressing the plus button, obviously good for somebody with a hearing impairment, should be able to hear those birds getting louder, and if we've decided that's too high, we use the minus button to come back down again. Once you've finished using an application, you only have to press OK again, and you come straight out of it back to the menu. You can see that each effect has a different colour surround. So if you're choosing a quiz application, they are surrounded by a purple box. Moving down to yellow, they are all our scatter applications, so objects that scatter on the surface. Moving down again, we get to those that are surrounded by red, and these are our splat applications. Going down through those, we come across the blue, which are our water applications. Down through water to green, these are the wipe effect, which I'll show you all of these shortly. Orangey red, which are the zones applications. So this quiz application is a spring quiz. The question is here at the top, and then on this one there are 3 possible picture answers. Now, to avoid anybody choosing those before you discuss the question, I'm going to press this dark green button here, which is the freeze button. You'll see a hand appears in the top left hand corner with a red line across it. So that now means no matter what we do on the table, nothing is interactive. So we can ask the question for the group, which spring flower is saffron made from? They can now discuss all of the possibles. So now we've had a discussion about the question, we're going to remove the freeze button symbol just by pressing it again. And now we can choose which picture answer we think is the correct one. I happen to think that it's crocus. If you get an incorrect answer, the question will wait until you find the right one before moving on automatically to the next question. If you wanted longer between questions, you can change the interaction delay. So that's now gone up to 10. So if we get this one correct, that's Forsyth here, we can have a bit of a discussion about that being Forsyth here before the next question loads. Okay, we're now in a scatter application which is all about revealing the vegetables. So we're going to disperse these feathery carrot tops. I'm just going to use this button. And you can see that as I disperse them, they all come back to recover quite quickly. So I'm going to increase the move back delay using this up arrow. So at the moment it's on 5, I'm going to carry on going up. That's now 10 seconds. So now when I reveal the image underneath, I have much longer to enjoy that before they start to recover. This is one of our splat applications. It's called Daisy Garden, and you can see the daisies are moving around the surface over the lawn, and the idea is to try and catch them and turn them into marigolds. So simply by doing that, if you're finding that's too slow, we can use our remote control and the up arrow to increase the speed of those daisies. So I'm just going to make them go a little bit faster. Let's put them up to 5. So now you can see they're whizzing over the surface, much more of a physical challenge to try and catch them. And of course, if somebody on the other side of the table is struggling to reach in time, you can use the down arrow to slow them right down again, almost to a virtual standstill. And once you've caught all the daisies, you have a lovely daisy reward. So this is one of our water applications. You can see this is a rock pool. I'm just going to show you what the effect is when I roll a ball across the surface, because it's a really good way to use these. And you can see the ripples carry on across the table as you pass the ball. Another feature that we have here in water is if you wanted those fish to be slightly faster, you can actually increase the speed using the up arrow again. So let's get them whizzing across the table. This is one of our wipe applications. So as you start to move your hand over the surface, you reveal the image underneath. So this one is revealing desert jewels hidden in the sand. This is another wipe application, but this time there's a whole sequence of images. So as we wipe away the sky, we see a forest walk, and that needs to recover before the next image in the sequence can be seen. So the way to do that is to use our down arrow and reduce the fade back delay. So it comes back much quicker. And now when you go in again, you should have the next image in the sequence or on the walk. We're now in a bluebell wood. And another feature at this point, if people are still obviously moving on the table, the bluebell walk will stay there. So the way to stop anyone interacting for that moment is to press the freeze button, and now any action over the surface won't work until that's recovered. Take away the freeze button, and now we should have our next image in the sequence, which is deeper in the forest. I'm just going to let that quickly recover again. And again, once that's fully back, we can reveal the next one, which is our final image, a poppy field of mountains. So we're now in one of our zones applications, and in zones only parts of the table are interactive. So on these it's the puddles. So I'm just going to throw a beanbag into the furthest puddle, and you should be able to see in here, I'm going to turn the volume up, the fish jumping out. There we go. Often in zones, music plays an important part, so on this one, each of these coloured tiles will play a note when you land on it. So if you have an editable system, you would get advanced training at a later stage. Everything that you've seen today has been handover training, but you will learn how to create individual folders for either for those in your care or for certain staff members, and also how to edit and create your own applications using your own photos, artwork and music. Although you could leave your system on for many hours, we do recommend turning it off after a session, as this prolongs the bulb life. Okay, so to turn off your Mobii system, it's the same button you used to turn it on. It says start up, shut down, so simply press in there. For storage, we recommend using the down arrow to make your Mobii go down as far as you'd like. When it's more compact, it's far more stable. Obviously make sure that you don't hit the table on the way down. So here we have it on floor mode, so the Mobii is down low, and you can see the 3 folders there ready for use. One final thought, do always turn it off from here first before you turn it off at the wall. It will prolong the life of your projector bulb. Thank you for watching this handover training. We do wish you many happy hours interacting with those in your care. Do consult the manuals if there's anything that you're unsure about, or you can always give us a ring. Thanks very much. Bye bye.